Hey gang, this is Vicky Kelly with Golden Rule Trades. I want to go over our setups for today. Today was tricky. And so although I did hit my profit targets in my account, I worked for it. And if you lost your mind in the middle of all of this, you very well could have lost your account too. So I want to show you where the first one set up, but it was very, very difficult to see. And this was actually a couple candles before pre-market, which is what the market's been doing lately. This was a follow-on buy signal from this move here. And so that's not what you're used to seeing at the open. Again, very tricky to see, but ended up being the pattern that unfolded. I recognized this right about here. And it took a bit and in the live room. So this is why we do this, so we can learn. What I had done was I drew beginning at the open, and that would have been here to say here or to here. And so we just basically scalped this up, and knowing that this was very long in the tooth here, and it doesn't always make it clear up to your level when that happens. So then we were looking for a continuation of the move, and so again, we weren't sure whether the pattern had completed or not. So what we did was we drew our lines here, and we waited for our signal. We got in and we were able to capture down to here, but this was news. And so I captured some of this, but again, it was small size because we had numbers coming out at 9:45 and we had numbers that came out at 10. So we expected it to wiggle around a little bit. It did, and I was able to capture this part here from the close down to this here. And then we had another move that was also gave us a little consternation. And this was a rare move. Let me show you what the pattern was. This is a rare 1 point setup candle. Happens on occasion, not very often. But this is where our up, down, and up energy is all in one candle. Now, this was 2 minutes to set up, but we had all of it in one candle. So what I did was draw my breakout line here at the base of this candle. And as you can see, there really wasn't anything. By the time we got our confirmations, it was already up to here. So what I did was I drew my line here, and we were able to get some points off of this, but not nearly what we would have liked. So the confirmation came here. About this area right here is where I got in. I took some off here because I usually take them off at this second level. If I enter under the second level, I take some off here. And then I also took some off here. Now let me tell you why. Because this was the high of the day right here. And I did not want to have to make a new high in order to get my contracts sold. So when this jumped up here, I went ahead and took most of my contracts off here because I thought there was the possibility that we would still be able to hit this up here. I left 1 micro to see if it could possibly come up here. And it did not, was not able to do that. As you can see, it sold off the rest of the morning and still, no matter what it did not hit that. So, I got stopped out on that when it came back to here because I put my stop underneath this breakout level. Almost got stopped out here, did not, but down through here is where I got stopped out. So But I, at this point, only had one micro on because this was just chopped the entire day. I'd already met my target levels for my target profit for my other accounts. So I had one little account that I left one micro on to see what would happen, and it got stopped out on that micro. So it was a great day, but really, really tough, really hard to see. So I'm glad that we had the room open and we could walk through it together, suffer through it together. And as I said to the folks in the room, the point of this is to not lose your mind and not lose your account. We know we have a system that works. We know that it will eventually straighten out and we will be able to find that move that moves quite a bit and we're able to capture, but we have to make sure that we live long enough to get there and we don't blow up our accounts beforehand. So as you can see, it just chopped through the day, but we were able to keep our losses small, capture our wins, and make sure that we took our profits early, not expecting it to do things that would have, on a choppy day, it probably isn't going to do. So make sure that you stay safe out there and good luck trading.